Hi, and welcome back to the Gift Guide podcast. Today, I have Shanice Palmer with me. She is a local content creator and founder of the Instagram and TikTok accounts Mommy's Jade. Thank you so much for coming. I know you personally as a fellow toddler mom, but I'm so excited to have this conversation with you.
I know. I'm so excited to be here.
So, tell me a little bit more about your family dynamic, how many kids you have, and what inspired your Instagram account and your TikTok account.
So I'm a Jamaican American. First I was a actress and model, and then I became a mom. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna retire to acting. I don't know, I wanted to stay home and raise my babies, but then COVID happened, and I was like, okay, I'm itching and missing the stage. So I was like, okay, TikTok is a thing, but I felt kind of old. And then it was just a bunch of dancing, and I was like, okay, I'm not that kind of Caribbean. Like I can't. There's no body to move. Like, what am I gonna do? So I attempted, failed, failed so bad. I got made fun of, but I was like, you know what? That's not gonna stop me. So I just started showing up, being myself. And a lot of moms was like, oh my gosh, I could relate to you, and I was like, really? Okay, and that's how the journey began. I just started sharing my life here and culture of being Jamaican.
As someone who is familiar with your content, I absolutely love it. You all need to go follow as soon as you finish this episode because it is a mix of hilarious, relatable, like you're just so human. And it's really cool that even though you say you failed, like you persevered, you kept pushing through, and you create some really great content.
Thank you so much. I love hearing that. And I just like to make people laugh. And being an actress, I wanted to be the hot chick. Like when they were like, "You're funny," and I'm like, "How? I want to be hot, not funny." So once I started just embracing it, it really makes my heart flow when people are like, "Oh my God, you made my day." I laughed, and I was having a bad day.
That's so
Yeah.
wonderful. And so today, Shanice is joining me to talk about toddler gifting. And I also have a 2-year-old. As you can see, I've got my mama t shirt on. So having a toddler is tough, but toddler gifting can be uniquely challenging. What do you find the most challenging when you're gifting to your toddlers?
Being a mom of two, I don't know why I listen to all those moms on TikTok. Give them a play buddy, a best friend. I'm just kidding. It's literally a boxing match in my house. So the number one thing this year that I will be doing is buying the same gift. So like you're gonna get one and your brother's gonna get the same one. Don't even do different colors. Like do not. Same color. So yes, so that's what I'm working on this year is age appropriate gift for my 4-year-old and my 2-year-old that they could both play with together and just enjoy.
Even if it's the exact same thing, it's that different color that it's like, no, I need this
Yeah.
one. I
Yeah.
need this one right now. Like
Yes.
I haven't seen you play with this one in so long.
Exactly, exactly, I'm telling you.
So what are the things that you're keeping in mind when you're looking for these developmentally appropriate, practical yet fun gifts for your kids?
I love that whole Montessori, play, so I'm definitely we actually visited that store, Fort, and
Yes.
I am obsessed with all I wanted to buy everything, so I definitely wanna start getting more of those gifts. I'm usually the Walmart girly getting the little plastic toys, but
Yeah.
yeah, no, I want, like, stuff that will grow with them, that is just organic and natural.
Yeah, and Fort Pure Play just opened about a month and a half ago, 2 months
Yeah,
ago in
yeah.
Richmond in the Libby and Grove area, and they're all about that tactical play,
Yes.
and, it from speaking to the owner of the store, it really seems like the toys grow with you too, so
Yeah.
getting them for both of your kids means years of play.
Exactly, and I love do you, like, enjoy those toys that, like, your grandma played with when you were a kid and then now you can play with them? That's the
Yes.
type of toys that I'm looking for this year.
Yeah. So one of my biggest struggles that I find sometimes is the gifts that come from everyone else. I can only have so much control over what I do, but everyone wants to spoil our kids. So what do you have to advise grandparents, aunts and uncles? Can you tell them and guide them with how to purchase for the children in their lives that they love?
Uh, so see, with being in a Caribbean household, especially Jamaicans, they are very stubborn. So it's just like telling my mom, like, oh, here's the list that, I would want you to purchase for my kids. She's gonna take it and she's like, what is, and then like rip it up. So they get very insulted about that. They're like, we're grandparents. We know I raised you. But this year I was like, listen, guys, please, I want experiences for my children. Like, I really don't want much like toys. Because if you see my house, it's a clutter.
Mhm.
So it's either toys or, well, they're now in preschool. So give me some clothes, like winter play. Because as you know, kids like stain those clothes frequently. So I'm just like, it's either experiences or clothes. And that's all I want. So it's a battle. But I mean, I sent my aunt the list and I seen what was in her Amazon cart. So I'm just going to nicely return it after Christmas and just take that money and go get what I asked her for. But yeah,
That's the beauty of Amazon too.
yes, exactly. So please just pack those gift receipts. But yeah, that's my answer.
That's awesome. What kinds of experiences are you requesting? Are they local to Richmond or beyond?
Disney cruise, please. Yeah, basically I just want like all of the local Richmond like classes that they have. Like, I know my daughter is obsessed with art right now, so the art museum or the art cafe that's in Chesterfield.
Mhm.
So like any little like toddler experiences, I would rather take them out, because museums, aquariums, zoos, like all of that, memberships,
Yeah.
anything like that is wonderful Christmas gifts.
Personally, I love memberships to the Children's Museum of Richmond, the Science Museum of Virginia. We also have a lot of great visiting exhibits that come to the Virginia Museum of History and Culture. And if you get a membership there, you also get free parking at the VMFA.
Ooh, I
Fun
did not
fact.
know that.
The Lewis Ginter
Yes.
membership, wonderful.
I had that on my list.
They have such wonderful activations.
Yeah, and it's like
that-
every season too, new
Yeah.
things. Yeah.
And the flowers are always changing. Even in the summer, I feel like you can go week after week and you'll see different displays.
And their
which is
play areas are endless, like the
Yes.
sand pit. So spring,
Mhm.
yeah.
and
Thanks
that
for reminding
splash
me.
pad.
Yes,
It's magic.
they just remade it too.
Yes.
Yeah, I that is going back on the top of my list. 'Cause I need that Lewis Ginter.
The Lewis Ginter one is
It's so pretty.
at the top of mine
Yeah.
too. Yeah, 100%. So for our families on a budget, I think I actually saw an Instagram story of yours recently about a Facebook Marketplace find that you had. Can you tell us what your tips are for parents who are trying to be frugal and maximize Christmas in a thrifty way?
So a little bit about like Jamaicans, like I tell you, they're very feisty, and I don't know. Okay, so they're very like prideful individuals. So I was taught like you don't do hand me downs, like that's a no. You don't know, because they feel like bad energy might come from the house. So meeting like exploring new friendships and meeting mom friends, they're like, girl, like why are you buying that brand new when your kids are gonna destroy it? Just go with other moms and get stuff. So I've been addicted to it. Like I started dabbling, and then I started doing it, and I found this beautiful like train set. Usually it would be $120. There was 120 for that train set. I got it for $20.
Amazing.
Yeah, and it's working, and no one would, if I didn't say it to like my whole audience, no one would have known.
No, it looked gorgeous from your video.
Exactly. And it was just like an old guy. He's like, "Oh, I don't need it anymore." So I would recommend going on Marketplace if you're like a budget-friendly mom or family, or you don't know how your toddler might handle something that's like a $400 gift. He might break it or she might break it, and then you're upset. So I would say go to the secondhand. Marketplace is my go-to. You'll find a ton of barely used, because other parents know their kids might have played with it once, and then it's on the Marketplace. So that's a great deal. Like I've
Yeah.
sold some of Royce's toy cars, and my husband always say, if you're gonna sell something, half off, 50% off.
Yeah.
So I would say go there, or Burlington. Never could go
Mm.
wrong with Burlington and Ross. Like I don't care what nobody say. That is my spot.
Those are some great tips. And
Yes.
I feel just there's so many wonderful tidbits that you have shared with us today. And so our listeners, our viewers have some really great things to take home with them. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank
Shanice.
you. Thank you for having me. This was so fun. And happy holidays, everyone.
Yes,
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays and enjoy your toddler gifting. Time is so fleeting, and just embrace the chaos.
Yes, definitely.
This year, Bravo Bake Shop is debuting their first ever Christmas cookie collection box. We have spent a lot of time putting together the very best 5 different Christmas cookies for you. They come perfectly packaged, ready for you to give as a gift or to keep one for yourself at home. We have an Austrian Linzer cookie. It's made with a hazelnut shortbread. We have an apricot arugula cookie. We have a butter crunch, a little bit like English toffee. It's coated in dark chocolate and almonds. We have a German Pfeffernuss, completely full of all the warm Christmas spices. And then we have a colorful 3-color pinwheel cookie that's peppermint flavored. Don't you want one? These things are just absolutely delicious. This one's my favorite. I wonder what your favorite will be.
Hi, and welcome back to the Gift Guide podcast. I'm here with Natalie Russell, who is the owner of Fit for Mom Richmond. I am actually an instructor with Fit for Mom Richmond, and I know you personally. I'm so excited to chat with you about wellness tips for this time of year. What can you tell our listeners?
Sure. So one of my biggest tips for mothers, specifically, since those are my clients and who we deal with at Fit for Mom, is to ask for help and to not feel like you have to do it all yourself. I think for me, sometimes, especially around the holidays, depending on what kind of person you are, you might be very specific about traditions and about how things should be done or how the tree should look, and let your kids be involved, no matter how messy it is. And this is something I've struggled with because I wasn't great with mess when I had a toddler. It was hard for me to let him just be messy and not want to clean up immediately after and let him decorate the Christmas tree and then leave it like that and not redecorate it, right? But I think if you can let your kids be as involved as possible in the traditions, and going back to the asking for help, not feeling like you have to do every single thing on the list. Also, not feeling like you have to do every single tradition or every single visit to see Christmas lights or make the cookies or whatever it is that you see all your other friends doing on social media or your neighbors doing. If someone gives you a gift and you don't have a gift already to give them, know that it's okay to receive.
I love that note. Embracing the mess and being able to receive are two great pieces of advice, especially for busy moms and busy moms of toddlers. I can relate. I don't love the mess.
Yeah, I struggle with the mess. Keep making sure that you carve out time for yourself. Yeah. Whatever self-care looks like to you, it could be totally different from one person to the next. Slow down, and embrace the things in the season that you love, without feeling the pressure of having to do it all.
That's such an incredible piece of advice. And, as a toddler mom currently going through divorce, asking for help is something that I've always struggled with. Mm-hmm. But what I have asked my friends for Christmas this year is babysitting hours.
Great idea.
So that I can have time for myself, because it is really hard as a single parent to carve out that time. And even if you're not a single parent, it's hard to find time by yourself.
It is. And it's hard if you're not used to asking for it.
Yes.
Because people aren't mind readers either. Mm-hmm. So sometimes you have to vocalize that and say, this is what I need.
And this is how we get it.
Right.
With help from our community. And
right.
Fit for Mom Richmond is the most incredible community that I personally am a part of. I love everything that you've cultivated, and the community is so wonderful and supportive.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for being with us today. And get this, moms, you've got to ask for help, embrace the mess, and enjoy this holiday season.
Bonjour, I'm Liz with Bravo Bake Shop, a European-style bakery in downtown Ashland, and I'm here to invite you to my Christmas collection. We have a classic French bûche de Noël. I've got a celebration croquembouche. We have a cookie collection, and all winter long, we'll be preparing our cherry Danish as well. Find me at any of my pop-up sales around town. As they say in France, Joyeux Noël.
Hi, and welcome back to the Gift Guide podcast. I'm Gianna, and today I'm sitting down with Jamie Gibberman. She is the co-owner of Get Organized RVA, and today we're going to be diving into some organizational tips for young families out there. Thank you for joining me in the studio today.
Thank you for having me.
I personally am a mom of a 2-year-old, and so I know how wild things can get.
Oh, yes.
How do you suggest that families can declutter ahead of the holiday gift rush that comes in?
Yes. So this is something we always recommend because we know there's going to be a huge influx of stuff coming in. So you want to get rid of the other stuff beforehand. This is the perfect time. We're a couple weeks out. So you really want to go through, and especially at that age too, they're changing so quickly. And you may still have some of those infant toys sitting around. So you want to look at what age and what stage they're in right now. And that may not be based on chronological. That may just be based on your child. If they're still into some of those infant toys, it's fine to keep them. But you want to make sure that whatever you're keeping is stuff that they're actually utilizing and that it's going to help them with their development, whether it's gross motor or fine motor or starting to read and recognize items and things like that. You really just want to look at the age and stage and say, okay, what have we moved past? And if you're planning on having more, then you want to actually store it in a way that you could save it for the next one. And if you're not planning on having more, then you want to go ahead and donate it and pass it to a family who could need it or who would really love it.
That's a wonderful point about passing it on to the next family, because I feel like as a mom, there's so many emotional attachments to things sometimes, but I think, there can be some mental health implications and stress levels. And so as an organizer, how do you find decluttering to really help with your mindset?
Oh, I think that our space has such an impact on us, and sometimes we're not even really aware of how much of an impact it has. A lot of times we'll be working with a client and they'll see the reveal, the big reveal, and they'll say, "I didn't realize how much this was weighing on me." And they're really moved, and sometimes they're very emotional about it. And I think that if we all really understood how much our space impacts our daily lives and our stress levels and our emotions, that we would take more steps to cultivating a calm space. So I think that, there is a lot of psychology behind it.
That's such a wonderful thing to think about, to motivate us as the adults in the home to kind of get it together, especially before this influx of gifts that come from family members near and far.
Yes.
And if you know that someone is going to be organizing their space, what is a unique or thoughtful gift you can get for them to help them organize without adding a little pressure to their lives?
I'm going to make a leap from that and say it's not a thing. It's an experience. So especially with kids, they are already getting so many items that giving them a non-material gift. So maybe it's a membership to the Children's Museum, or maybe it's a trip to go ice skating or something like that, where it's an experience gift and you're not contributing to more clutter. I think that can be a great gift. I also think as parents, it would be beneficial. Some people, balk at this, but to make a wish list, an Amazon wish list, so that you're curating what comes into your home, and you say, oh, just to help you out, I made this wish list, and send that their way. And a lot of times, if you exclude any toy that needs batteries, that's totally fine, because those are the ones that drive us crazy. But I think those are the types of things that people can think about in terms of an actual organizing, item. I think that we use a lot of cubby systems with kids' toys. And so it's their height, it's accessible for them. We can talk a little bit more about what types of containers to use in that, but we love those for playrooms. I think those are, it's not necessarily a fun toy or whatever, but in terms of organization, those cubby systems are great.
It almost feels like a cubby system is more of a gift to the parents.
Yes, this is
than
true.
the kids.
This is true. Although again, then the kids can reach it and they can access it. And so there's benefits, for both.
Yes. So when you're putting together a cubby system, are baskets the way to go?
Yeah. So a lot of people think like, oh, it should be clear containers so my kid can see what's in it. But visually, when we were talking about like your space needs to be calm, when you have clear containers and you've got a lot of stuff in them, this works for pantries too, it's actually very visually stimulating and like almost overwhelming. So we do not recommend clear containers for the most part, especially we have a lot of clients with ADHD, and especially for clients with that or kids with that, clear is not necessarily better. You actually just want a bin that you cannot see through with a really good label. And if the kids are not reading yet, you can use pictures. So a lot of times we will go and make a playroom where they're pre-readers, is what we call them, and we will take a graphic image, so it might be a picture of a book, it might be a picture of a truck, it might be a picture of a doll, but that way the kids are able to put their stuff back too. And so they're learning that, even as young as 2, they can start to learn that.
Wow. So empowering your children to take a part in the organization
Absolutely.
process.
Start them young.
Wow, that's such a
Definitely
great
start 'em young.
idea. I love the idea of a cubby system because I feel like it really empowers the child. It helps the parents.
Yes.
And I had never thought about using pictures as a way to label.
Yes. And another tip with that is, when it's cleanup time, we like to recommend doing regular cleanup time, whether it's, before nap or before dinner or whatever it is, just sort of the same time every day. But you give them very specific instructions. So instead of saying, let's go clean up the playroom or let's go clean up our play space, you say, can you put the dolls back in that doll bin? And then they have a very concrete step that even at 2, they can take in and say, oh, okay, I know what a doll is. Yeah. So you want to just give them really small steps like that.
Being specific,
Very specific.
helps their brains. Wow, that is wonderful. I'm going to take that
Okay, good.
with me
Let us know how it
today. Let's see how my 2-year-old does when I tell her to put her dinosaurs away in her dinosaur bin.
Yes, with a picture.
Oh my gosh, that's so wonderful. So for families with multiple children, families on a budget, what are some affordable ways they can DIY these organizational hacks or tips that you just gave us?
Yeah, I mean, so many things are very low cost or no cost. I mean, decluttering in and of itself is no cost, right? It's just time. That's the investment there. So that would be the first thing we would recommend, is definitely doing the decluttering. But we've had clients on a budget who are like, here's some shoe boxes. Can you use those to organize? Absolutely. I mean, if you want to splurge and get a label maker, that's fun. You can label those shoe boxes and make them look pretty. But even without that, you could use masking tape or just a Sharpie. But there's all sorts of things you don't have to splurge on. People think automatically go to the Container Store, but there's great dupes at Amazon or at Target that are really low cost, and even the Dollar Tree. People don't think to look there. I mean, it may not be the higher quality plastic, that you might get, but it serves a purpose. I mean, if all you're needing to do is sort and contain it, there's lots of great options there. I mean, we've done rooms for under $50, really.
Wow,
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah. So it just really depends on what you've got available. Always use what you have first. That's the other piece of this. Sometimes we're shopping their home just to find any container that we might be able to use. It could be an empty coffee can, for art supplies, or it could be, something really simple like that, but looking around your house first.
I absolutely love that tip, to shop your own home for these containers before you go and spend money outside of your home.
Yes.
Because it keeps more budget to hire an organizer
There you
that
go.
can really come in and help you.
Yes, absolutely.
Is your service of organizing something that is giftable?
Oh, yes. We definitely have people give gift certificates to people that they care about, whether it's for a session or a full package. We do just recommend that you make sure they want it first. Sometimes people have great intentions with their gift and they think they're helping someone where that person might be offended. If they're like, well, I didn't know I had clutter. I didn't know I was disorganized. What are you trying to say? So you do just want to make sure that, maybe they've mentioned it, or maybe that they go on YouTube and watch lots of organizing videos or something like that. So that they have an interest in it. And those tend to be the people that are so excited about us, coming in and changing their space.
I am a big fan of all of the Netflix organization shows, so it would be a dream for me to get that kind of a gift certificate.
It doesn't always happen in 30 minutes. I'll just throw that out there. A lot of those episodes are like, oh, it's immediately finished. And we're like, no, that took 10 hours.
Yeah. Oh,
So, yeah.
I remember in the Marie Kondo episodes, I feel like they would go, you would see her for a day, and then it'd be like, see you
It'd be
next
done.
week.
Right.
And then she'd come back in and they'd be done. It seemed like magic, but I imagine they spent lots of hours decluttering.
We definitely set realistic expectations when we go in.
Yeah. So is there anything else that any tidbits that you can give our viewers ahead of the holidays that they can do to prepare?
Yeah, I would say the biggest thing is go ahead and do that pre-holiday declutter. And we recommend twice a year with kids. So pre-holidays and then usually pre-birthday.
Okay.
Because again, it's that second influx of toys and things. And if they happen to have a winter birthday and you've just done it, then, a pre-summer, so right at the end of school is a great time to just clear out stuff, get things ready for the next season. But that decluttering piece, I would say, is the biggest tip.
That's wonderful. Well, thank you so much for joining us today, Jamie. And viewers, you can get her contact information through the notes in the YouTube if you're looking there, or through our Instagram. And we are so excited to start decluttering.